Are you flooded with emails and struggling to keep your inbox under control? In this video, I will show you how to create your own personal Outlook productivity system that transforms your inbox into an organized, stress-free, and action-oriented workspace. Hi, my name is Tim and welcome to the Office Playbook. If you work in a corporate environment like me, you probably know the feeling of receiving dozens, if not hundreds of emails every day. Tip number 1 is automate email organization. Start with newsletter. If you don't need to read newsletters during your daily grind, set up a rule to move them straight to a newsletter folder. Think about weekly reports or regular invoices or those system update notifications that you receive from time to time. You don't need them cluttering your main inbox. Some people also benefit splitting up the inbox into different categories like Prior 1, Manager, Prior 2, Co-workers, Prior 3, all others. This can be a good idea depending on your personal work style. Now let's walk through an example on how to shift emails automatically in Outlook. So I've got this email from Instagram that I want to move to a dedicated social media folder. Therefore, I simply right-click the email and go to Rules. Afterwards, I select Create Rule. From there, I choose a condition. In this case, I want to filter all emails from this sender. Next, I pick an action. Here, I'm moving it directly into the social media folder. With that, I'm already done. Now, any future email from Instagram will automatically land in the right folder. Give this a try and watch your inbox instantly become more manageable. Tip number 2 is keep your folder system simple. When it comes to folders, less is more. While it might feel tempting to create a folder for every little category, having too many can actually slow you down. Here's the problem with too many folders. If you have more than 5, it's easy to lose track of where things go. Every time you stop to figure out where to store an email, you're wasting valuable time. A better approach is to structure your folder so simple that you don't even have to think about where to archive a message. I need to admit, I used to have dozens of folders, but now I have streamlined everything into just 2 folders. Archive for emails I might need later. And the mentioned newsletters for all those subscriptions I want to keep but don't need to see it right away. This might sound like a huge shift and you might worry about losing that detailed structure that you have today. But here's the key. You don't need all those folders when you have Outlook's search function. It's powerful enough to find any email you need in seconds. Simplify your folder setup and you will be surprised at how much faster and easier inbox management becomes. Tip number 3, turn on conversation view. We have all been there. One email turns into a back and forth ping pong match before we know it. Your inbox is buried under an endless chain of replies. Thankfully, Outlook has a solution. It's called dialogue mode. This handy feature groups related emails together, making your inbox way easier to manage. Here's how to enable it. If you're using the new version of Outlook, open Settings. Afterwards, navigate to Mail and then to Layout and look for the option to show email grouped by conversation. Once that's enabled, customize the view to your preference. For example, I like selecting Newest on top to keep the latest reply in front and show deleted items so nothing gets missed. You can adjust these settings based on what works best for you. Now all those email chains will appear as a single grouped item, giving you a much cleaner and more organized inbox. If you are using an older version of Outlook, just go to the view pane in the main window and activate dialog mode from there. This simple tweak makes email threads far easier to follow and frees up space in your inbox. With these 3 little tips, you have managed to create a tidy and well-structured space in your inbox. What remains are the emails that really need your attention. So it's now time to talk about how you can process those as effectively as possible. And here is the first tip to do so. Tip number 4, the so-called 2-minute rule. One of the biggest time wasters in email management is rereading same messages over and over because you didn't handle them right away. If this sounds familiar, the 2-minute rule can save you from this trap. Here's how it works. If an email can be answered or dealt with in 2 minutes or less, take care of it immediately. Why? Because you will spend more time reopening it and rereading the email later than it would have taken to respond in the first place. Of course, not every email can be handled this quickly, but you will be surprised how many can. This simple habit can drastically reduce the clutter in your inbox and free up mental space for bigger tasks. Now you may be asking what to do with the emails that take longer than 2 minutes or maybe cannot be answered right away. The solution is tip number 5. Keep emails and tasks separately. Managing emails and tasks in the same space, that's a recipe for chaos. To stay organized, it is essential to separate your outstanding tasks and your open emails. It doesn't matter whether you're using Outlook tasks, Microsoft To Do, or any other task management tool. The key is to keep your tasks separate from your inbox. If tools aren't your thing, you could even create a dedicated folder for open tasks. Personally, I prefer Outlook tasks because it seamlessly integrates into Outlook Desktop, making it super convenient. Here's how I handle this. I've set up a shortcut that marks an email as read, moves it into my archive, and creates a task from it in one go. After clicking the shortcut, a pop-up appears where I can add important details to the task, like start date, due date, or category, for example. Once saved, the email is archived and the new task is visible under the tasks ribbon in Outlook. This method keeps my inbox clean while ensuring I never lose track of important to-dos. That said, there are plenty of ways to manage tasks. It's all about finding what works for you personally. Whether you prefer a specific app or a simple folder system, the tool doesn't matter as much as having a clear process in place. And speaking of tasks, the next tip dives into a critical mindset for managing tasks effectively. Tip number 6, differentiate tasks by action types. One of the biggest challenges with to-do lists is when they become overloaded with everything under the sun. Tasks that aren't ready, follow-ups for later, or items that are currently blocked. This can make it tough to focus on what actually needs your attention. The solution? Separate your tasks by action types, so you can focus on what's actionable right now. Here's how I do it. I personally keep it simple by creating just 2 categories. First, tasks. These are things I need to actively work on right now. Secondly, follow-ups. These are tasks that depend on someone else or aren't ready yet. In Outlook tasks, I assign different categories to these items. For follow-ups, I also set a reminder so I don't forget to check back in. This simple system keeps my list manageable and ensures I'm always working on the most important things first. For you, it can be more than 2 groups. Again, I'm recommending to start simple and enlarge your task categories later on if it makes sense. By following these tips, you will create a structured workspace and set yourself up with efficient ways on managing your inbox. But the real game changer? integrating these strategies into your daily routine to build lasting and productive habits. In the final section, I will show you how to seamlessly incorporate these techniques into your workflow, so they become second nature and help you to stay organized every single day. Tip number 7 is use time blocking. To stay on top of your inbox without letting it take over your day, try time blocking. Schedule dedicated time slots for email work. How often and how long you block time depends on your personal role and also on your work style. For me, I found out that 50 minutes twice a day works perfectly. With this setup, I can handle around 50 emails a day while keeping the rest of my schedule free for focused work. I also use time blocking for my tasks, but here's the key. I don't handle task planning during my email sessions. Instead, I set aside 2 30-minute task planning sessions per week to review and prioritize my to-dos. Once I've prioritized everything, I block specific time blocks in my calendar for the tasks that need focused attention. This separation helps me stay organized and ensures I'm working on what matters most without constantly shifting between emails and tasks. Tip number 8 is minimize distractions. Distractions are the enemy of productivity, and email notifications are some of the worst distractions. Here's how to limit distractions. Turn off notifications. And I don't just mean the pop-ups of your Outlook desktop. Also turn off your phone notifications. The fewer interruptions, the better you can focus. Secondly, answer emails in a new window. If you currently reply to emails in the reading pane, incoming messages can disrupt your flow completely. Avoid this by setting Outlook to open replies and forwards in a separate window. Here's how to do it. Click on File and then go to Options. Afterwards, navigate to Mail and scroll down to the section labeled Replies and Forwards. Activate the option Open Replies and Forwards in a new window. Tip number 9 is shortcuts. Shortcuts are a total game changer. Yes, you have probably heard that before. But let's be honest, how often have you actually integrated them into your workflow? If the answer is not really, let's fix that. Before your next email time block, take a few minutes to look up the shortcuts for the action you use most often. During that session, commit to only using shortcuts for those tasks. Stick with it for just a week or 2. And I guarantee you will internalize them and drastically speed up your email flow. Some shortcuts that are essential for me include moving emails into folders or generating tasks. These are the real game changers for streamlining my daily workflow. You can customize these quick steps in the menu we've covered earlier. Other shortcuts that are critical in my opinion are especially answer an email with Control and R and sending an email with Control and Enter, but also answer to all with Control Shift R, forward with Control F, and answer an email with a meeting invite with Control Alt R. With these shortcuts, I can handle almost my entire email routine without even touching my mouse. And while these are my personal must-haves, Outlook offers tons of other shortcuts to explore. If you would like a deep dive into shortcuts or have any questions about boosting your Outlook workflow, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what's holding you back. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tips like this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.